I just wanted a space to kind of talk about some things I'm doing. I'm in my late 30s. I will be 40. Can you believe it? In just over a year. And it's really got me thinking about how can I get to optimal health? Optimal health. That is like so important to me at this stage of my life. You know, I'm someone that has lost weight, gained weight, been at my best health, been in my lowest health multiple times throughout my life. And I'm just really ready to get to a place where I'm sustaining great health and really thinking about my future and what that means for me long term. So yeah, protecting your peace, regulating your nervous system, making sure that you have movement, functional movement. These are all things that are just a few brackets of health when it comes to thinking about things that you can do to live your best life, because that's what this is all about, right? So I've come up with a list of 4 things that I'm doing right now that have already been helping me the last few months as I work toward getting to 40 and also getting to the best health of my life. So the first thing I'll talk about is moving my body without punishment. Like I said, for years, I've been on a health journey. I have been someone who was the person they pointed to at the gym in my workout classes, because I've always had, you know, I'm a tall woman. I'm 5'8.5". I have a taller stature. I've carried weight in different ways. But one thing that I have always done is I have been a person that works out very hard. I've done boot camps. I've done Pilates. I've done just a lot of walking. There's anything you can name. And there was a time in my life that I would spend hours in the gym. But you know what? When the pandemic came in 2020 and all the gyms closed, that really made me look at working out differently. I was able to find a great YouTubers that I really loved. I would do 30 to 50-minute workouts. And I dropped a lot of weight, got into the best shape of my life during that period. Prior to that, I have hyperthyroidism and Graves' disease. And I was having a lot of issues with my thyroid. I was told to remove it. So I really, during the pandemic, I really spent time and said, you know what, before I do anything extreme, I'm going to focus on what can I naturally do to get to the best health I can. And within 3 months, all I did was I switched to eating mostly whole foods, did intermittent fasting, and I made sure to do a 30 to 50-minute workout every day. And I started walking a lot. I didn't even track steps or anything. I just made sure I was walking. And within 3 months, I was off of blood pressure medicine. I was no longer pre-diabetic, and I already had dropped at that point like 30 pounds. And then when it got to a 6-month period, I dropped about 60 pounds. And I no longer suffered from some of the hyperthyroid symptoms. I was in remission. And that was all through just changing my diet and some of the things I just talked about. So I'm still on a journey now. I've put some weight back on through some tough times in my life, but I know I can do it. I've done it before. And these are things that I still incorporate when I can, but the name of the game is consistency and thinking about how I want life to be long term. So right now, movement is so important for me because I don't want to go to extremes where I'm working out all day. I've been there, but I'm still being consistent every day and getting a workout in. So what does that look like right now for me? That looks like I actually have gone back to the basics. I still have a gym membership, which I use. I like to sit in the sauna, but I've gone back to the basics with doing 30 to 50-minute workouts. And now I do track steps a little bit. So I try to get in anywhere from 6K to 10K steps a day. Now, they always tell you 10,000 steps, which is amazing. But I remember reading studies have shown that even getting an increase in what you usually have done still makes a difference. So don't be intimidated by 10K steps. If your baseline is usually 2,000 steps, even getting to 4,000 or 6,000 will make a huge difference for your health. So movement is important to me right now. The second thing I'm doing is making sure to create a full life outside of romantic relationships. I was in a long-term relationship a few years ago. And since then, I've kind of recreated a life for myself where I really focus on friends, family, hobbies. And let me just say, I'm a big advocate for not being busy to be busy. I don't believe in just marking up a calendar to say you're busy. I believe staying and doing things that actually bring you joy and that you enjoy is what's most important. And that is specific to every single individual. So you have to figure out for you what that looks like. I know for me, I love dance classes. So you will find me at Zumba, mixed fit, cardio dance, twerk class, any class that I can move my body, that gets my heart pumping. I do classes sometimes with friends. It's a great thing that you can do even solo because you're going to have fun anyway, just listening to the instructor tell you what to do next. Soca, so Caribbean classes, just yes, there's plenty in my city and I definitely take part in those. And then outside of that, I also am a very activity driven person. I love classes where you're baking, you're doing some arts and crafts. I joined a makerspace last year. I'm no longer a member there, but during that time period, I did stuff like pottery. I learned to sew. So much fun. I met so many people through that space as well. I'm a pretty social person when I get out there. So that's important for me. And also just making sure that I prioritize the relationships in my life that I care about. I have some friends that have been friends since I was a child. I have some friends I've met through college, through workspaces. Just really thankful for the people in my life. So I try to be very intentional. One thing people always throughout my life have said, why do you always have so many friends? Like even as adults, and I do understand everybody is still different. But one thing what I would always tell people, I was like, I also am intentional about my friendships. I do not mind reaching out to people and say, hey, what you doing this day? You want to do something? Sometimes people are not always available or they're not in the mindset. Or maybe the day of, they have to cancel. I do not take it personal. I go on to the next person or I do stuff by myself. And guess what? If that person can't do something, I'm still going to ask them the next time or, hey, let's get together. And so it's kind of like I've created this connection with people where they come to me as well, inviting me to do stuff. So I will say to kind of keep friendships, you have to do the work of being a friend. You have to put ego aside. You have to reach out to people. You have to invite people to stuff. And that can look different for everybody. It might be inviting a friend for a bite to eat, inviting a friend to do an activity, a hike, or it could be just, if you're into anime, you're into shows, invite a friend to come over and watch a show with you, share a meal. I do all of that. So plenty of options. So like I said, keeping your life full outside of romantic relationships. And even if you do have a partner, that is still important. It's important to know who you are and find things that bring you joy. A third thing that I'm doing is that I am really protecting my mental. And so when I think about mental health, it's so important to me. So that's why I said wellness is not just about body, movement, eating right. It also has to do with your inner workings, right? So I am in therapy. I've had the same therapist for a few years, and she has played a big role in my life in just teaching me about wellness and the bigger meanings of things, right? I'm so thankful for her. And you know what appealed, like while she was appealing to me, I remember when I found her on psychologytoday.com. That's where you can go find a therapist and do all the filters. She actually, I saw that she had on her write-up, you know what, if you want to take a walk in the woods and we can talk about how your day was, let's do it. And I was like, I need to call her. I love it. And she is so wonderful. Like, she really made me feel comfortable because I had a hard time with therapists before her, just not feeling comfortable, not really wanting to open up. And she really has created like this safe space. But through her, I've learned the importance of when you have a lot of stuff going on in your head, if you deal with anxiety, being nervous, overthinking, all things I have dealt with, that is when it's so important to lean into your wellness habits. For me, those include things like making sure that I am reading my devotionals, reading my word. Faith is very important to me. That is the anchor of everything you do. Your relationship with God. He has brought me through so many things, so I would be remiss in not taking time to talk about that. And the power of the tongue, if you know about that concept, in the Bible, and just kind of your words, the things that you speak to yourself are so important. If you keep telling yourself, I'm an overthinker, I'm never going to do this, I'm not going to do that, that's not going to work out, then it's not going to, because you're putting that out there. That's what you're saying. You have to really kind of change the way that you speak to yourself. And I had gotten to kind of a negative mindset, I'm not going to lie, a few months back. And I realized my weeks were I wasn't feeling that great. And then I was reminded, I actually went and saw that new Michael Jackson movie. And, you know, all this stuff is coming out about Michael's life now and how he really journaled, and he really kind of put out manifestations and affirmations about things that he wanted. I came across one that I really loved that said, "I am grateful. I am a magnet for miracles." And I have been walking around saying that. When I say that my weeks have been better, I say that. I say I am a secure, regulated woman. I am strong. I am powerful. I am bold. I say all of these wonderful things over myself. And that honestly has been so helpful in just my journey and moving forward. And the last thing I'll talk about, the fourth point that has been really important for me lately, is romanticizing my life and slowing down to regulate my nervous system. There is and you've probably seen this movement on social media, but really taking small moments that you normally would do, but romanticizing it. And that just means, let's say I know I want to sit down to read a book, but I'm going to make it nice, right? I'm going to maybe make me a cup of tea. I'm going to light a candle. I'm going to set up a nice little nook, get my book, and just take time for myself with myself. Something else that's really big for romanticizing my life, I know personally, is definitely slowing down. I didn't realize, and you probably see it a little bit even with the way that I speak. I move fast, I talk fast sometimes. I'm always moving fast. I got to get this done. I got to get this done. But it's honestly saying, wait, calm down, Ashley. Calm down. And I slowly will do things. If I need to grab something, my movements are slower doing it. If I know I need to go somewhere, I stop rushing, because guess what? I'm going to get there when I get there, and I slow down walking out the door. I calm myself down. So honestly, having slower movements has been a huge help for myself. That's something big that I've done. And going back to even romanticizing my life, I just make every moment beautiful. I love farmers markets. I go there a lot on Saturday mornings. I love bookstores. I love going out to restaurants. I used to meet a friend at a restaurant. I would throw on anything. Now, honey, I'm making an event. I say, you know what? I'm going to put on a cute top. I'm going to put on a dress I haven't worn. I'm going to put a little makeup on my face, which crazy. I'm in my late 30s and I just started wearing makeup a little more. But I'm going to do all of these things to make and honestly, it works. I feel good. It makes me feel better. And just taking care of myself. I do skincare at night when I get out of the shower, wear my bathrobe, and just do all of these things. That's a part of not only romanticizing your life, but again, going back to things that are helping you regulate your nervous system, slowing down, taking time to just kind of enjoy the beauty in things and just everyday mundane tasks, right? That is so important. And I didn't touch on this, but if for you, something like cutting out your social media time that you're browsing online, that might even be something that's helpful for someone. So yeah, I think all of these things are so helpful for me. When I think about my future, getting to my 40s, I can make a long list and talk about even more, but I think this is a good kind of foundation to talk about who I am, what I'm trying to do, trying to have optimal health and get to where I want to be. So yeah, it all has to do with mind, body, spirit. I also, of course, am on a journey with my health. And so I thought it'd be great just to share some tidbits I've learned along the way, as I've been on this journey. So come along with me if you're interested. I will try to be doing updates regularly, with some of the things I'm trying to do, and peace out.